Hey guys, and thank you so much for being here for the Twin Peaks live chat for part 6 of the return season. If you're in the room, please let me know by saying hello in the chat box here. But I will go ahead and let you know that I, of course, enjoyed this episode. I don't really think there's going to be an episode that I don't enjoy just because I love the characters so much. And I just kind of know how the show works, and you guys do too, because I know everyone who watches this is a big fan and who watches my videos. But I very much like the episode. I really love this Dougie version of Cooper. It's still so hilarious to me. I know I've said it before, but I don't want to let him go because he's so funny and awkward, and he just makes me laugh so much. And I know one day, like, that character won't be in the show once he wakes up, because that's got to happen, you know, probably in the next couple of episodes, I think, but I don't know, maybe it'll take longer. But he's just so funny, and I think that he is great. So hi, Miriam, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you being here. But I see that there are 6 people watching right now. So what was your favorite part from this episode? There were also some very violent, graphic parts of this episode, scenes in this episode. The guy who was running around stabbing people, and you know that Dougie is like his next person that he's going to be after. That was really brutal and graphic, and it kind of like scared me. It kind of made me like cringe. And also the child who was hit by Richard, and Richard didn't seem to care at all and left the scene, and then was trying to like clean his truck of blood and stuff, which is really gross, but that was what was happening. Hi, Ralph, and hi, Lionel. Thank you both so much for being here. Yeah, those were both really graphic scenes that I think they can do more of and go farther with that because it's on Showtime now. Lionel says that hit and run was horrible. It was really, really awful. Yes, absolutely. And you know, I definitely think if you notice the woman who was obsessed with the pie at the Double R, she looked at Richard's face, like they made eye contact. She knows who it is. So there's no way he's going to get away with this, even though he's cleaning his truck or whatever. I mean, he's definitely caught, and he should be, because he had no remorse. I don't think he set out to hit this child. The child kind of just came out of nowhere in front of him, but he definitely didn't try to avoid it really, and he left the scene, which you just don't do. Ralph says the guy running around stabbing people is from the Pirates movie, like Pirates of the Caribbean. I've actually never seen any of those, so I don't know, but he's creepy. I don't get his connection. Does anybody know exactly who he is? Because is he affiliated with the people that Dougie's wife paid off, or is he a separate entity? I'm not sure about that. Oh yeah, one thing that Cooper said that made me laugh so much is when they had the photo of him with Jade, and his wife was really mad, and he was like, Jade gives 2 rides, you know. Kyle is just hilarious. It just cracks me up so much. These little things that he does and says are so funny. I also loved how he was supposed to do all that insurance paperwork and figure all this stuff out, and his boss was like really mad because he drew things all over it, which I feel like he was drawing things to get his memory back and to become Cooper again. That was trying to like jog his memory, but the insurance man felt like after he looked at the paperwork that he like figured everything out and like he was a genius. And so when he tried to shake his hand, it was so funny when like Cooper was mimicking him and he turned around with his hand out because he doesn't know how to shake someone's hand. I don't know. It's just so funny. I don't want to let Dougie go. Dougie is hilarious. Absolutely. So what are your thoughts and theories about this? Okay. Um, okay, Nick, You're saying who was a different guy? I'm sorry, I disappeared for a second because that's what always happens with these chats. Hi Nick, thank you so much for being here. You're saying no, it wasn't, different guy. Who exactly are we talking about? Someone for the Pirates movie or something else that I was saying? Hi Angel, thank you so much for being here. But yes, what I was saying before I disappeared from a technical difficulty is, what did you guys think of this episode? Did anyone have any specific theories? Does anyone have a theory as to who Richard could be? Again, Richard is the guy who was driving the truck who hit and killed the kid. Oh, so the short guy killing people. I don't know. I've never seen the Pirates movies, Nick, so he did not look familiar to me. I have no idea who he is, but that's just me. But yeah, he was really scary, and the thing he was using to stab people was very scary, and he was mad because that woman, when he was stabbing the second woman, it got bent or whatever, so he was really mad about that. But I'm trying to think of what else that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Oh yes, we saw Diane for the first time when it was Laura Linney. I think many people had that figured out, and it was a super short scene, but it meant so much because we have never seen Diane before. So it's going to be interesting to see what her role is in the show. And, you know, we still haven't seen Audrey. I follow Sherilyn Finn on Instagram, and she has been actually posting about her character, like, where is her character, kind of teasing, like, what's up with that? I don't know what's up with that, but we haven't seen her yet, you know, and like I've said before in these videos, we just get, did I call her Laura Dern? I'm sorry. You're right. I'm sorry, Lena. Whoops. But, you know, we just get some of these characters. One, you know, we barely see Bob. We've barely seen Bobby. We've barely seen James. You know, we're not getting all of our old characters in every single episode. You never know who's going to appear because when the episodes end, the previews are non-existent. Basically, they show you stuff that we've already seen. So we have no idea what's coming up. At least I haven't found out a way to find out what's coming up or who's coming up in the next episode. So it's very cryptic, and, you know, that's just kind of how the show is, but I'm okay with that. But yes, anyway, it was good to see Diane. And Nick is saying when Albert got out of his car and was walking into the bar, and his little comment he made was hilarious. Yeah. Oh, yes, it was. I've like forgotten what he said now, but I remember it being so funny. I can see that scene in my mind, but I've totally forgotten. Do you remember what he said exactly, or sort of? Because I can't remember. But yeah, very funny. You know, but it's weird. You know, I'm wondering if everyone who watched the first two seasons also loves this third season. Because it's such a strange show, and I've tried to get people to watch it, or sometimes, like, last night I had a friend watching it with me, and she was like, this makes no sense. Of course, she's never watched the show before, but she was like, I don't understand this. And I totally get how it can be, like, really weird and make no sense and, like, scare people. Not scare people, but freak people out. Like, what the heck is going on? Like, if you've never seen the show before. I don't know. But I'm just curious, like, have people who watch the first two seasons, I wonder if there's anyone who just hates this new season. I don't know, just curious. But anyway, let's hear from you guys. What did you guys like about this episode? Does anyone think they know who Richard is? Because I've said a lot here. We need your participation. There are 9 people in here, and I'm the only one talking. Okay, there's Ralph. Ralph says, you think Red is Mrs. Tremont's grandson who practices magic all grown up? That's a good guess. Yeah, I don't know. Definitely could be. Oh, thanks, Nick. Thank you. Yes. Okay. It was because it was raining, and he was talking about Gene Kelly from Singing in the Rain, and he was mad about the rain. Yeah, very good. Emma says you've heard a few people say they hate it, but not many. Okay, that's interesting. I don't know. To me, it's like it's different, definitely, than the first 2 seasons, but it still has some of that same, like, charm. And oh, I wanted to talk to you guys about what was in the bathroom stall that, I forget his name, the guy at the sheriff's department. He's a big character. Why am I forgetting his name? When he was taking the door apart to find something in there, because remember, he was like triggered by that because of the Indian, I guess the company who made like the bathroom stalls. Paul says that Mrs. Tremont's grandson is a lodge spirit and not a drug dealer. I think I meant, hi Robert, thank you so much for being here. Okay, yeah, so Hawk, thank you. Nick says, is it Laura Palmer's missing pages? So it did definitely look like some kind of notes, and we remember those notes from Laura's diary, so this is supposed to be the information, I think, that helps Coop get back, right? Like whatever was tied to his heritage. So that was interesting. We didn't get to see much about it, but that one guy, I don't know his name, like in the show, but he's such a jerk who came into the bathroom and like wouldn't leave. And then he was making fun of the sheriff's wife, who I guess their son had committed suicide recently or not that long ago. And oh, thank you, Ralph. Okay. But yeah, thanks, Paul. Thank you. I appreciate you being here. But anyway, yeah, that guy is such a jerk. Like, ugh, he's awful. I mean, I get it. Like the sheriff's wife is very eccentric. Like she's always really mad at him. I think we saw that in the last episode. But there's some reasoning behind it, and that guy just didn't care. He's like a total jerk. Nick says the good Dale is stuck in the lodge and can't leave. But aren't they trying to figure out where Cooper is? And like, I don't know, because they have no idea like where he is because he's been gone for like 25 years. So aren't those, whatever the clue that was tied to Hawk's heritage was supposed to like help them find him, right? And because Hawk was like out in the woods looking for him. I don't know. That's kind of how I took it. And you guys are saying that it's Laura Palmer's page is missing from her diary. So interesting, I think. So yeah, what did those say? I don't know. I can't wait to find out. And who knows when we're going to find out. I don't know if it's going to be next week or like 5 weeks. Who knows, you know, because somebody was in the chat last week talking about how this was supposed to be more like a movie this season rather than a bunch of different episodes of a TV show. So like we were talking about, you don't know who you're going to see in each episode or when we're going to see them again or when a certain storyline will be revisited. Paul said that Coop is outside the lodge. He just either needs the golden ball that Dougie turned into his shoes, which fell off when he came to Earth, or he just has to snap out of it. Mike's scene in episode 6. Yeah, right. Yeah, I know. And we're all waiting for him to wake up and become not Dougie anymore, right? Hi, Ellie. Thank you so much for being here. Paul is hoping it's the shoes and he goes back to Twin Peaks to get them, which I think we're all could figure out that he is going to get back to Twin Peaks in some way. And you know, when they received that key that Jade mailed like last week, that'll help too. Ralph says the Indian on the stall was a symbol of Hawk's heritage. Yes. And he found the diary pages and therefore finding Dale. Right. So Emma says you think the missing pages talked about Bob and maybe contained the message from Annie about Dale being in the lodge. So someone tweeted me, Brittany actually tweeted me, and I don't think she's here, a deleted scene from the movie, which I haven't actually watched all of those, but it showed Annie like all bloody and everything. Are we supposed to assume that she died back then 25 years ago, or did they kind of leave that open? I don't know. Paul says the pages talk about Annie. Yes, thank you, Emma. Nick says, will we see Laura and Leland together in a scene? Ooh, I don't know. You know, that's a good question. I don't know. I'm excited to see Leland again because I really like him, and we saw him just a little bit. I mean, he's completely insane, obviously, but I'm excited to see him again. Oh, so Paul says someone grabbed a screenshot of one of the pages and it does say Annie on it, which is helpful. Thank you so much. And apparently we can find this information in the secret history of Twin Peaks. But Nick says it's not reliable. I don't know. I have not looked at that, so I haven't watched the deleted scenes either. And I haven't read Mark, was it Frost? I haven't read his book, so I know sometimes some of that stuff factors in to what's going on now. Ralph says Annie was bleeding from her head due to Wyndham knocking her over the head. So we don't know what happened to her. And I guess supposedly Heather's not supposed to be in the show anymore. So, so anyway, we'll have to wait and see what happens, or if they recast her. Someone, I mean, you know, it's been 25 years, so she could look different. And I mean, she could be a different actress just to have her in the show. But yeah, there's just so much stuff that they can do with the show, and so many, you know, who knows? I don't know where it's going, and I'm actually kind of fine with that. As much as I enjoy like theorizing about shows in general, and this one, part of me really enjoys being like totally surprised by this show. I kind of enjoy the fact that we don't have previews. I don't know I don't understand why some people aren't around. I don't know why we don't have Audrey yet. I don't know who is playing certain roles. And the trolls, really. I don't understand some of that, and I don't know some of that stuff, and I think that's cool. I think in other shows that I watch or have watched, this concept just wouldn't work, but for me, I'm cool with it. Yeah, I had to get rid of the troll. Someone crazy. Diane's hair. It's interesting. Did you notice her nail polish? I think like each finger was a different color, right? I thought that was interesting. Ralph says the secret history of Twin Peaks was brought out as a companion piece to the new season, and the second book will be released after the finale. So the secret history of Twin Peaks is that Mark Frost book. Is that what you guys are saying? And then there's another book coming out by him, I guess, right? I started following him on Twitter so I can keep up and fill in the blanks for me. But I mean, I've seen everything. I've seen the movie. I've seen the whole entire first 2 seasons and whatever and all these episodes. But there's some things that, like the deleted scenes, I haven't seen all of that. And I haven't read this book. So I don't know if that's helpful for me or that I need to do that to understand some of this season. I'm not sure. Okay. Thank you, Ralph. I appreciate it. But yeah, but I don't know how you guys feel about that. Do you feel like, do you like the fact that we really don't know what's happening and that we don't have previews and that we don't know where certain people are? Nick says, do I think Diane had a thing for Dale back in the day? Will we find that out? If so, that's interesting. I don't know, maybe, definitely, that's totally possible. I'm curious to see what they do with her character, since we know nothing about her. We've never heard her speak or anything. So possibly. I'm also wondering, like, what will happen with Audrey and Dale, if anything, because she also on Instagram posted a picture of their little Funko characters, like kissing sort of, and people were reading into that and they were like, oh, does this mean they're going to be together? Because, he always felt like she was too young for him and that's not going to be an issue anymore. And obviously he hasn't been able to get married or whatever because he hasn't been here. So, Paul is asking if I think the current season of Pretty Little Liars or the current season of Twin Peaks is better. Oh, wow. First of all, I would never compare those 2 shows, even though I think maybe Pretty Little Liars took some inspiration from Twin Peaks, but Twin Peaks is definitely better. I mean, I don't know where Pretty Little Liars is going, and it could be very disappointing. And I don't think that I don't think Twin Peaks will disappoint us. It's just that to me, they're totally different shows. And I just think that Twin Peaks is a lot more of an intelligent show than Pretty Little Liars. Hi, Gilkai. Thank you for being here. Datsun says, you wonder if the pages in the bathroom stall were from Laura's diary. And I know you're just now joining us. And yes, people have screenshots of them. And apparently they are from her diary. So good call. You're welcome, Paul, of course. Gokai says the scene where the kid got ran over was disturbing. The show is messed up. Yeah, well, I mean, it's always been kind of a show that was out there, but now they can do more stuff because, well, times have changed since the 90s and it's on Showtime and you can do pretty much anything on Showtime. Yes, as Ralph is saying, no real parent will play that tag game so close to traffic. Not a smart game. He wasn't a tiny kid, so it was kind of weird to me that he just stopped in traffic regardless of what game he was playing. But I thought it was a really weird game. I didn't know what was going on at first. I thought maybe this woman was chasing him or whatever. And I guess, obviously that was his mom, but it was like a super weird game where you like run and just freeze or whatever. But to do that, and, she knew they were at a crosswalk and she should have not gone that way. She should have said, oh, we're not playing that this way. We're just going to cross the street or whatever. The whole thing was messed up, I don't blame her for him getting hit, but it was weird. Dadson said, you think that Chad, the mean police officer, will probably die by the end of the year or the show? Thank you for his name. I couldn't think. I talked about him earlier. He's such a jerk. Let's hope so, because he was a terrible, terrible person. Emma said, you've heard some people say they don't want to watch it anymore after the kid got ran over. Well, I immediately thought, wow, I didn't know how graphic it was going to be, but God, they spent so much time on that shot of him being all bloody and everything, and it was so graphic. Did we really need it? No, probably didn't need to see that. We knew, I mean, you guys, when he got hit, you knew he was dead. But this show, I think, once pushed the limits, they can on Showtime, they can do that. Ralph says Mike or Leland put those pages in the stall. Probably Mike when he was shooting up in the stall. Interesting. Yeah, that's really interesting. I guess, yeah. I don't know. That's cool. That's cool to think about. Paul says, you mean the premise for season 1 is a high schooler being constantly raped and finally murdered by her father. So kid getting run over is, not a big deal. Well, right. And I guess what is hard, I guess, for some people to figure out now or to understand, back when it aired at first, I feel like they could only do so much, again, because of the time that the period in time it aired, and then what channel was on CBS. So, if all of Twin Peaks would have aired on Showtime now, it would probably have been so much more graphic, like the first 2 seasons. Yes, Lionel, we do need more Shelly time. We just saw her like a tiny bit. I know we're going to see her more, but last week we got more of her, so that was better. Ralph says people act surprised that the kid got ran over, but this is David Lynch. I mean, I'm not going to stop watching it or anything, because I've seen worse things. I can't remember right now, but I'm pretty sure I've seen worse things on TV. Nick says, no, I don't think I saw your comment. The cameraman was in Amira and Sarah Palmer's house in part 2. Oh, I never saw that. That's interesting. And Paul agrees with Ralph so much. That's nice. Gokai says, who killed the couple having sex in front of the box thing? Oh, yeah, we don't know that yet. That was probably some kind of spirit or something. That hasn't been revealed yet, so I don't know. I don't know if any of you guys have any guesses. But yeah, interesting. I had no idea that you could see a cameraman, and that's crazy. I can't believe they left that in there. The monster. So do we want to talk about the monster? Yeah, who do you guys think that is? I mean, I kind of think it's like a supernatural entity. I don't think it's someone we know. Try to get back. Okay. Laura Palmer is the monster. I don't know. Hey, that's interesting. Isn't she kind of evil? Isn't there an evil Laura Palmer now? I like that, actually. Ralph says David Lynch is usually weirdness, sex, violence, obscurity, and philosophy. Yeah, I went away again. Not fair. I think the cameraman was just a cameraman. Hi, Jay. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, I'm back. That is twice that someone has kicked me off of here. It's not someone, but it's definitely like a technical thing with YouTube, but it seems to happen to me often. I don't know. I used to think it was my computer, and then I got a brand new laptop, and it did the exact same thing on there. So I was like, okay, it's not just me. There's something going on with this. But yes, is there anything else in our last few minutes before we end here? Is there anything else you guys want to talk about, or any theories that you had? Ralph says the monster that killed the kids was female and had a gold ball. Interesting. Did you see that in that scene? Like, I must not have been watching it carefully enough. Yes, we will blame Laura Palmer. Either that or it's Bob that's kicking me off. Which one do you think it is? Emma, I think we're talking about season 2. I haven't seen this personally, but I think someone was talking about season 2. No, maybe not. Are we? No, I guess you're talking about part 2. You're talking about the scene with Laura's mom, right? Is that what you're talking about? Oh, that's interesting. For some reason, I thought you were meaning season 2. I can't even believe that. That's some craziness that got left in there. Wow. Now that makes me want to go back and watch it again. When Sarah was watching the tigers eat the animal, that's what I thought. That's the only time we've seen her house in this season. So Frank says the cameraman was Frank, Sylvia, Bob in the shot in the mirror, and Lynch kept it in. So I'm getting really confused. So Frank, who plays Bob, wait, that can't be though, because he's dead, right? I think we're talking about season 3, right? So this current season, the scene where, I don't know, I've not seen this myself, but the scene where Laura's mom is watching like the graphic tiger thing. Apparently though, if it happened in the, actual first couple of seasons, maybe it was, like Emma said, deliberate to replicate the original Bob mistake. I don't know, craziness. A. Charles says Twin Peaks was ahead of its time 25 years ago, and you think it's a snooze fest. You can't keep watching. The original one had great visuals and fashions and an interesting story, even though it tried. So that's interesting. I was just asking earlier, if anybody just liked it. Tried to be zany or deep or whatever. Charles is saying this is hard to watch. It's ugly. The story doesn't seem to be important, and the only character you still like is Hawk. So, right. So everyone is not going to love the new season. I definitely, Lena, want to know about the drugged 119 lady. She keeps saying that. You know that's got to be important. I mean, I know it's 911 backwards, and maybe we're supposed to just be like, oh, she's crazy, but there has to be more to her. What the heck? Why is she always in the show? Thank you, Paul. Yeah, and thank you for your great comments tonight. I appreciate it. Ralph says if we pause the glass box scene, you will see the creature has breasts and is holding the gold ball in her hand. That is very interesting. Nick, I do. It's Kelly_TV, just like my Twitter. And I will have to remember, I keep getting like DMs on there and they go to like some weird inbox. And sometimes I forget to look in there because they don't come to my regular inbox. And then like one day I looked like last week and I had like 7 or 8 messages, you know. Sometimes they're like total spam and then sometimes they're real people. So if you ever send me something on there, it might take me a while to get to it because it doesn't like send me an alert, or maybe I have my settings messed up. But sometimes I don't know they're there, but I try to get back to everyone. A. Charles says, is anyone else just hoping someone will? No, I'm not hoping someone's going to kill Cooper. I think Kyle, I mean, I personally think Kyle is doing a really good job this season. And I'm totally fine with people disagreeing with me, or if you don't like the season, that's fine. Sometimes I really dislike a season of a show and like I'm one of the few people on here who does. But like seriously, I do think he's doing a good job. And I really like this season. And, you know, and that's being completely honest, because when I started this show, I didn't really Okay, cool. Okay, so I think I'm here again. But the thing is, how do you know which Kelly I am, you know? If I just suddenly like bash my head into my computer screen, then you're gonna know that good Kelly is missing. So that's funny. Wow, this chat really and truly, they have been trying to get me into the lodge, and I'm not gonna tell you which one I am right now, but look for signs. But anyway, we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you so much for being here. I'm sorry that this disappeared 3 different times. What can I say? Like, Bob, he's crazy and he comes for me all the time. But this was a really good chat. They always are. They're so insightful, and I really appreciate that. And I appreciate everyone sharing their opinions, even those people who don't really like it. That's totally fine. Thank you for sharing your opinion on that, Charles. But I'll have a new video up tomorrow with kind of extended thoughts on this episode. And I hope you guys are having a great week and continue to have a great week. And I will see you tomorrow with my new video. So bye, guys.